Hey there, you me and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
I am Mantis.
and today we are talking about James Gunn and firing out more projects. Mantis, are you ready to go ahead and jump on into this video? I don't want to waste any time on this one. All right, then let's go. All right, guys. So when we say James Gunn and firing out more projects, we were talking about is he was recently asked about what his plans are now that Superman is in post production, as well Peacemaker season 2 is in post production because he was obviously heavily involved in these. So what is he working on next? We know Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow's is in the works. We know that the Lantern series is in the works. We know Booster needs to start getting written, and the one article did reference Batman 2, but technically he has nothing to do with the Batmans. That's the whole Matt Reeves thing. He's not fucking touching that. He doesn't want anything to do with that. Now, before we get into it, because I want to get Mantis's opinion on this, guys, Mantis is very under the weather right now, so he's fighting. He's holding it together. He's trying for us, so we definitely do appreciate him. Mantis, if you're able to speak, do you want to kind of like talk to us a little bit about what James
Yes.
Gunn had to say?
Yes.
Okay, you sound like
So
Vader right now.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
I know. Sorry about my voice. No. Yeah. It's hot, this time of year is always bad, especially when the temperature fluctuates around where we live. It's not the best of places
Allergies.
to be. Yeah, it's always allergies. Um, broke my leg. It was allergies. But yeah, again, James Gunn is, as we've been discussing on this channel for the longest time, is heavily involved in all projects. It seems like with the DC, whether he's producing, writing, directing, and as Cal mentioned, obviously, Peacemaker season 2, he was involved in there. Which did he write and direct that?
Yeah,
I think and
yeah.
produce maybe all of it.
Well, wrote and directed the first season, all of them, and I think he did like 3 or 4. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but he did at
Not
least a
not
chunk,
all of them.
maybe not all of the episodes on this one on season 2.
Right. Right, and he wrote and directed Creature Commandos as well, and Superman. As we know, that wrote, directed, produced everything on that one. So he's been involved a lot in a lot of these, but some of the other ones you mentioned, like Lanterns and what was the other one? The Supergirl movie.
Oh,
So like,
I thought you were talking about Booster.
sorry, oh no, not yet. But he's involved in those, but not to the degree that he's in the other ones that we mentioned. But there was I guess this was either on Blue Sky or Threads. I think it's on all of them actually. He's probably pre-posted, but someone had added him, so I'm assuming this is Twitter. Maybe they all work like that. I'm not sure because I don't have all of them. From Nerf Herder Scruffy Looking, which is a perfect name for this user at James Gunn, saying, how have you been balancing post-production on Superman and Peacemaker with pre-production and generally working with the respective teams on other DC Studios projects like Supergirl, Lanterns, the Batman 2, or Sergeant Rock, which, as we said, I don't think he's going to be involved in the Batman 2 at all.
I don't mean to be Sean Parker here, but you can drop the. Nobody wants to go to the Facebook.
I think that's a completely other studio. Either way, James Gunn did respond as he does on social media. He does not like to leave certain things out in the ether to then run wild with rampant rumors. So he says, the bulk of my time is dealing with post-production on Superman and Peacemaker, but I'm also spending a fair amount of time pre-writing my next DC Studios project and watching dailies and offering ideas on... Wait, does that say dailies? Did I say that right? Watching dailies? Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading. And offering ideas on other projects is much less overwhelming when I was directing. So he seems, again, the directing part, he's mentioned this before when we were talking about Superman. For whatever reason, directing part apparently he doesn't like as much. Maybe it makes him miserable. His words, not ours.
Did a video on
But, yeah. But again, that kind of drummed up speculation about what project is this that he's writing or pre-writing? What the hell is pre-writing? Is that like we throw ideas
Brainstorming.
around? Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it sounds like. Is him. I mean, pre-writing means they don't have a story that they're going to do yet. It's just a couple of ideas about what it could be. So, like, quite frankly, this is. I mean, he's definitely picking a property too, right? Like, you don't brainstorm about multiple characters, or when I say characters, I mean you wouldn't brainstorm about making a Superman movie as well as brainstorming about making another movie, right? You kind of pick your character and you want to stick with that, and then brainstorm ideas on the story that would be involved there. But which would that be? What is it? What is his? What do you think his next foray is going to be in the DCU that he's
Well,
plopping around there?
so for me, I would think about multiples right now. Once I have the one like Superman, I'm gonna go ham on that. But I would think because I'm doing a connected universe, right? Where I've got the uh, Creature Commandos, and it's basically taking place right before the Superman movie, and then Peacemaker 2 is said to basically take place right after the Superman movie. So Peacemaker season 2, just clarify on that. So yeah, I would kind of be thinking about, okay, I need an overarching story, like this is what's going to happen, and this is how these people are interconnected with this is how I'm going to bring in this to it, this is how I'm going to bring in this, how am I going to tie in Wonder Woman for Paradise Lost. I'd be thinking about all of that. However, I got to imagine his next big thing, because when we think about the Superman and the new DCU starting, I got to imagine his next kind of biggest priority is going to be the Supergirl movie, because we know it's going to go 1 year behind this movie, right? And if this movie's successful, you want to kind of play off that success with the next Supergirl movie, with Lobo being in there, with all these other characters you can introduce while you work to get these TV series up and running. Because you can kind of do that. You know, I know he wants to have a pretty decent hand in Lanterns, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're going to focus on probably Woman of Tomorrow and Paradise Lost would be my
So you
guess.
think? So you think Paradise Lost is kind of what he's, because what he's saying is this is pre-writing, like so this is stuff that hasn't been already confirmed or even talked about yet. This is stuff like they mentioned in this article, which I think we did a video on this, the Authority, and he's commented before that the Authority was one of his I won't say his favorite things, but I'm trying to find the article where he talks about it, but he does mention something about the Authority being one of his favorite comic books reading or character arcs that he wanted to do. Sorry, forgive me, guys. I'm trying to find it here.
Which we had done in the video where we talked about that is
Oh,
obviously in the comic books, the Authority cross paths with the Green Lantern Corps quite a bit. So would they be great to bring into the Lanterns TV show, where you could kind of go more into their backstory and kind of explain their origins and give a lot
mm-hmm.
more information? You could have them crisscrossing through the Lanterns show. Uh,
Yeah, it says here it's one of his real passion projects. This is him quoting. It's saying one of my real passion projects, explaining they're basically good intentioned, but they think the world is completely broken. The only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands, where that means killing people, destroying heads of state, changing governments, basically whatever they want to do to make the world better. So, I mean, he's talked about that before as being one of his ones. And another one you mentioned could possibly be in there too.
Captain Atom.
Booster Gold.
Oh, well, we know he's going to have to start writing the Booster series soon. But my other thought would have been Captain. If you had mentioned, if we're talking about projects that haven't been mentioned yet, like that aren't like like we know Boosters, something with Captain Atom. I feel like, because we know he has teased that he does like Captain Atom a lot, and he would like to see him in there. He's not said, "Hey, I have any particular project," so. Could be.
Yeah, it sounds like he's involved in the pre-writing of a lot of this stuff, and maybe that is just kind of to give his overall influence, because again, you have to have kind of an idea of where the movie's going to start and end, right, to influence the overall arch of the DCU. So your main director, James Gunn, needs to be involved in those discussions and those brainstorming sessions to make sure it fits with the overall direction he wants to take the entire DCU,
Well,
right?
and I think that's a big thing, and that's where I feel like a lot of people had issues with the DCEU was you want it to all because it's an entire universe, right? So you want it to all have the same feeling, the same theme. It's just maybe with this character's a little bit lighter, like Superman, and then when you bring in say Batman, you do show some of the grittier, darker elements, but it all needs to still have the same overarching theme to feel like the same cohesive universe. So I feel like having him involved at least in some bit until everybody's kind of on the same page, having him involved in either some of the writing or the directing of all of these projects will help that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't honestly until they get a really good foothold, I can't see him relinquishing, or even the other CEO, because he's a co-CEO. Who's the other
Peter
guy?
Safran.
Yeah, um, which you don't hear much from him. I don't know, you know, maybe we need to do something on Peter Safran. There's just no news about it. It's always James Gunn. Sorry guys, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway,
We have the Wozniak, and then we have
yeah,
Jobs over there, just kind of
yeah,
doing his
just chilling.
even
It's like,
though
yeah, whatever you want to do, man. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So um, and maybe I don't know, like maybe he needs to go rein in Matt Reeves over there because your Joker didn't do so well. Um,
Yeah. He's probably like, my name's Paul. This shit's between y'all.
Hey, my name's Paul. This shit's between y'all.
What'd you fucking ask me about it for?
Like he's staying the fuck out of that nonsense. That's
well,
what it
dude,
sounds
as
like.
soon as that movie released, James Gunn stepped out and said, "I had nothing to
Oh.
do with that project."
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we don't want. Yeah, he's like, I didn't even know we were doing Batman yet. What is that? What are you talking about? What's Batman? Yeah,
The Joker.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he decides to focus on next. Because again, we know of several projects that he's really like got already set in the pipeline. We did a whole video on the DC timeline. I don't want to bore you guys with that again. I might put a little timeline thing going across the screen here while we're talking about it. But we're moving well. Creature Commandos has been well received. I feel like the overall news of the Superman trailer was pretty well received. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Again, it was a teaser. So once we get the full, and I am kind of sick of seeing all of these people saying, "Oh, here's trailer two," and they're fan made or they're
Yeah.
just like recuts that they did of the first one. You'll know because guys, if you're like us, if you have your news alerts turned on to any of the other kind of like comic book news sites and stations, like dude, that you get bombarded with the same news in like 30 different emails, right? And even a
Wild.
week later, it's like saying the same thing, and we're like, oh hey, we can do a video. Oh wait, we already did that video because it's old fucking news. But they
Well, and you mentioned all the stuff coming out, like Supergirl's filming currently for the 2026 release. Lanterns is expected to start filming soon. Clayface, you mentioned, is also in development, set for September 11th, 2026. So there's lots of stuff on the table that they're already kind of things are in motion here. But we asked a question to us here what we thought James Gunn is going to do, but we're going to ask you, what do you think he's working on next?
So what do
Let
you
us
think
know.
he's working on next, as well as what do you hope he's working on next? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's good. Yeah.
because
Those two could be totally different.
yeah, right. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's working on this, but I would love to see him. Especially of the ones that he said he's passionate about. Like with Mantis mentioned the Authority, the with Captain Atom. Whether it's Booster Gold, because I'm really really excited for him to start writing that series. I want that to get more of a firmed up date on when it's gonna fucking release, because I'm gonna be in a fucking wheelchair by the time it's gonna release the way it's looking. All right, guys. we want to keep this one a little bit shorter just because it is that kind of like we wanted to have a discussion about it, but there is no like you see all these
all speculation.
alerts pop up that are like, oh, James Gunn working on his next project. He didn't actually say anything. So we don't want to drag that out into a 30-minute video for you guys. We were just really kind of curious, get your guys' opinion as well. Help the community out here. Let us know what you think. For all of you that have been commenting here lately, because we have seen an uptick in comments, we definitely do appreciate you, and we appreciate you trying to be as respectful as possible in the comments. So definitely appreciate that. And if you aren't one of those people that have commented, you should.
Not? Why
right?
not?
Yeah. And then if you're going to comment, you should have liked the video. You know, if it's
subscribe.
That too. Just go ahead and subscribe. I mean, they're all right there together. I mean,
it's all together. Just do the 1, 2. You do the 2 clicks. It's the subscribe and the like button. I mean, you do it. If you're really good, you can just do it real fast.
Super fast.
But don't miss and hit the down vote. Don't do that.
What did you do? I turned off the wall. Wait, didn't you turn off the whole movie? I must have pressed the wrong button. Well, put it back on. Put the movie back on. Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Then that's going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.